Go ahead. What are you saying right now? I'm not going to take your idea. I want to capture you explain it.
A book of abandoned ideas. Ideas that you thought were good, but because you either lacked the courage, the capital, the resources,
whatever the case may be, they got burned. It was like dismissed. Didn't happen.
And then there will be one chapter on all those ideas I abandoned that, as it later turned out, other people with capital did it and showed me to be the fool. That'll be one chapter.
Really fucking great. That's a great
another chapter. I would put all of my, I would put art in the chapter. It'd be all the rejection letters I got the first time I published a book under my own name. First and only time. I would put all my rejection letters in there, every one. If he still has it, I would get the correspondence with the agent that I got to shop this book. Because even he, at the very beginning, you can see the inner machinations of commerce.
Yeah.
And people wanting to make money and
reconciling that with the content of the book or whatever.
Yeah, after all those pictures, there's the bankruptcy, my book.
Yeah, but at the time converged with the bankruptcy and all that.
Yeah, that would be a story discrete by itself. One called The Publishers I've Actually Met. There would just be two people. Peter Osnos of Public Affairs, former editor, head guy at Washington Post.
Not exactly like a lightweight in the world.
Former and buddies with the whole Washington Post board, a connected guy.
Yeah.
Was the publisher at Public Affairs.
So who would be the second?
Unlike most superstar, Brad Pitt was there, doesn't know shit about publishing. Fucking Peter Osnos, Jew, publishes like a rock star. Every book, basically, it sells through. There's no losers.
Expert. He's expert.
Yeah, there's no losers on the list.
All right, who's number two? Who's the other one? Osnos and him.
Peter Osnos and this guy in San Francisco, Jack Shoemaker.
Also Jewish, sounds like.
Yeah,
Schumacher.
What he cares about the most.
What's he got?
Is typography.
Visually, it's got to make sense to him.
And since he is more concerned about the inside of the book than the packaging, which he also has decision-making power over.
Typography guy. He's not an artwork guy.
He's not that interested in that.
Typography. Surgical.
That's going to be what it is. The marketing department is going to make it pink or whatever. But the inside, the book, what he personally engaged the author about, whether it's Anne Mott or some other counterpoint, Wendell Berry, poet.
Is like a troubadour poet or
Wendell Berry's. I'm not into him at all.
Did he tell the truth about real-time events?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like a troubadour, but anyway.
He's a poet for sure.
Cool.
Anyway, Jack is somebody who I've met in person, like Peter. You asked me who I met in person, right? I met only those two, really. I never met the publisher at Oxford or any of my other clients. But those two dudes were rock stars for different reasons.
You just happen to fucking interact with them versus all the other clients you've ever had.
Peter Osnos' office.
Okay. Yeah.
He's discovered on the Washington Post. He's
not exactly a lightweight in this department.
He's paying the best and brightest journalists in our country, I don't know, $20,000 to $80,000 in advances for their books.
Lump sum of money transferred to their whatever.
Yeah, he's done books on microeconomics.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that eventually won the Pulitzer.
Oh, for microfunding or whatever, yeah.
It started out. His story started out as a book for this publisher. I didn't design that one, but it's the type of book they publish. Books on who was the dictator in Zimbabwe? Just died recently.
I don't know.
Looks like a monkey.
Yeah.
Black guy.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, a couple books on how horrible he was.
books on big pharmaceuticals, big oil books, anti both. He's a liberal Democrat.
Really? Yeah.
He's Jewish, man.
Yeah, I feel like.
With money. I think if you do a study on Jews and the conservative versus Democrat,
You mean kiketars?
The more money.
You mean kiketars?
there's an inverse ratio.
You're talking about kiketars right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
The more money they have, the more liberal they are.
Less money,
The more conservative they
more
are.
conservative.
The more Hasidic?
Send some to.
What's a conservative Jew? Is it a Hasidic?
Hasidic, but I think they all give to Israel.
You think they're going to be pissed when they realize that the Jews aren't the chosen people? The African
Well, you
Americans
know,
are?
they elected Benjamin Netanyahu for a reason.
The name just rolls off the
It
tongue.
does.
Netanyahu.
Yeah.
It's like, get the fucking Yahoo. What the fuck?
Nickname Bibi.
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 Wasn't there a
So
Bibi in the Bible?
Bibi has been in power there for.
As long as I can remember.
Shit, I remember when I got deported in like 2002 or 2001. What is that, 19 years ago? He was the prime minister of fucking Israel. And I was like, I remember looking at it, I was like, that guy, he seems young, kind of cool. Like, you know, yeah. I kind of, you know, mentally endorsed him at that point.
Likud party.
The Likud, yeah, exactly.
West Bank.
Blue and white wasn't doing so hot at that time.
Yeah. West Bank, really all ours.
Who's ours?
All Jewish peoples. The entire thing.
Are you Jewish?
Now,
You are. You're
But
Christian, right?
you're gonna see-
Wait, hold on. You're Christian, though, right?
I believe so.
All right, cool. So, like, all Christians are Jews now that I'm here. It's
Oh.
all good. I already handled that. No big deal. You're Jewish, yeah, cool. So we's good.
They're like relying on this Abrahamic promise and
Yeah.
this land.
Yeah, and Isaac's
These
scrambled
other
without
people
Ishmael.
are saying it's their land, which until 1948 or 68,
48.
7-day
Exactly
war,
10 years after the Cannes Film Festival tried to kick off.
which at that time Jordan actually possessed the land.
Very important
But they
country.
took it away.
Very important country. A buffer country.
Yeah.
Very important.
And within the land of Canaan scope. They believe it's theirs, James.
we have biblical evidence to show it. And more importantly, Benjamin Netanyahu and the liberal, not the conservative Likud party, they're about to annex. They're about to do
Golan
something
Heights,
in
man.
No.
Oh, you know, they're about to in July. They're
In
gonna
the West-
divide
yes.
God's land. They're gonna divide God's
It's in
land.
July.
It's probably the best one.
There's actually a date that
I bet it's right before the 20th.
there's a date they're talking about.
Yeah, it's probably not. It's probably not after the 20th, if I had to guess.
And all the stories I read,
Didn't he say
They
something
all
about
have-
dividing God's land?
all the stories I read, all of them said this will result in an
It is.
outbreak of violence on the part of
Arab
the,
Spring.
the other
Arab
people
Spring.
who think it's their land.
Yeah, Palestinians. Yeah.
And they have a right to it too.
Fuck yeah, they do.
Well, I see it.
Yeah.
I see the right.
And you know what? The
It's like
court
dudes-
that is without the temple is
It's like-
cast out and it's given to the Gentiles.
Yeah. Another
Just-
way to read this is, yes, Jews, this story does say that that's your land. I can read it like a Harvard graduate. It does say that. You abandon it at some point. These other people came and lived there.
Oh, duh.
So,
Zion.
If
When will
you've
you
never
not
heard
hate
of
me?
possession is 9 points of the law, you guys abandoned it for whatever reason.
And you call them that
persecuted.
slithering snake.
Been persecuted for 2,000 years. We get it. But
Hey,
come and want to take it all back. That's a big ask.
what's that term? It's like corrected in measure. They will be corrected in measure. I know I read that somewhere. That concept, it's all good. They're just doing their thing. They're fighting for their own fucking bracket. So are the Muslims. So are the Christians. It's all good. The Father, the
Stop
Ancient,
that,
the
right?
Ancient of Days. Nah, it's still recording. The Ancient of Days. It's the Abrahamic Father, man. Like they're cousins. He's like, now we're
Yes.
good. You just gotta have them kind of go. They
So my
gotta
point
they
is
gotta
that-
have a representative from each party who identify as nothing even concerning Islam and fucking Judaism, because the Christians are just Jews anyway. So like, You gotta have that. The strongest Judeo-Muslim bond has to be from two people who never identified as such and weren't friends. And then they come in, they're like, oh, we're just
Monotheistic bond.
the thinkers and the connectors.
Monotheistic bond can include
Everyone's coming.
irrational.
Everyone's coming.
Monotheistic.
Monotheistic.
Not just
exactly.
Judeo-Christian. That's just two.
Judeo-Muslim is what I was saying, because all Christians are Jews,
Christians,
but
Jews,
Judeo-Muslim is what I was
Muslims,
saying.
they're all-
You gotta have Isaac and Ishmael.
they're all
They gotta come.
monotheistic.
Yes. The Abrahamic faith.
They're excluding a large part of Africa.
See us through at the 11th hour.
I forgot what it's called. Believe in many gods.
Polytheistic.
Yes, there's another word for it.